Have you ever wondered what truly happens in the mind of a narcissist when you finally go silent? Forever? Not the mask they show to the world, but the raw, psychological process that unfolds behind closed doors. When you sever that tie, you're doing more than just ending a relationship. You're forcing them to face the one thing they've spent their entire lives running from: their own internal emptiness. In this video, we're going to explore the psychological unraveling they experience, and we'll see how their desperate, predictable behavior is the ultimate confirmation that you're finally and completely free. To understand the magnitude of this unraveling, we first have to consider the fundamental architecture of the narcissistic psyche. You see, a person with significant narcissistic traits often lacks a stable, internal sense of self-worth. Their identity can be seen as a meticulously constructed facade, what the psychologist Carl Jung called the persona. And this persona serves a single, critical purpose, really: to attract external validation, admiration, and attention. A concept often referred to in psychology as narcissistic supply. Think of this need for supply not as a simple preference, no, but as a profound psychological dependency. It's what fuels their grandiose self-image, and it keeps their deep inner emptiness at bay. Now, beneath this inflated ego, well, there lies what Jungian psychology gives us a really useful lens to see as the shadow self. You know, it's all those repressed feelings of insecurity, shame, and vulnerability, things the narcissist just can't integrate into their consciousness. And ultimately, their entire life. It becomes this elaborate performance, all designed to outrun that shadow. As their partner, family member, or even their friend, you weren't just a person to them. No, you were a primary source of this psychological oxygen. You were the mirror, reflecting that idealized image they so desperately needed to see. So, when you choose to go no contact, and really mean it, in their mind, you're committing an act of profound psychological disruption. You're removing their primary source of life support. You're taking away their mirror, forcing them to glimpse the void they've been running from. This triggers what's known as a narcissistic injury. That's a deep blow to their fragile self-esteem, one their psyche just struggles to handle. And it's this injury that often precipitates a psychological collapse. Their desperation, you see, it's not a sign of your value to them as a person. No, it's a symptom of their own internal disintegration. So, what does this collapse actually look like? It's rarely a single event, but more often, it's a predictable pattern of escalating behaviors. It's a chaotic, desperate, and ultimately failing attempt to regain a sense of control. Let's walk through the sequence of behaviors that often unfolds when they finally realize you're never coming back. The very first thing that happens when a narcissist senses you're serious is often not sadness, but a state of shocked disbelief. This isn't the denial associated with healthy grief. It's an arrogant refusal to accept a reality where they're not in control. They've seen your boundaries bend before, so they may wait, expecting you to return. But when days turn into weeks, and the silence is absolute, that disbelief can curdle into a raw panic. This is when their survival instincts really kick in, and they'll often launch an intense manipulation campaign. This campaign, well, it can have two distinct fronts: attempts to pull you back in, and attempts to punish you if you resist. First, let's consider the attempts to pull you back in, a behavior many survivors have actually termed hoovering, named, of course, after the vacuum cleaner. They may use positive tactics, suddenly becoming the person you first fell in love with. You might receive faux apologies that sound remorseful, but utterly lack genuine accountability. They'll say things like, "I've been thinking, and I realize I did everything wrong." This is often a manipulative script, designed purely to get you back. They might use nostalgia bombing, flooding you with memories of good times to trigger an emotional response. Then comes future faking, where they promise, say, the marriage they withheld, or the therapy they refused. It's a performance designed to prey on your empathy. But if charm doesn't work, well, they may pivot to negative tactics, And this is where threats and guilt tripping can really begin. They might fabricate a crisis, like a sudden health scare or a financial disaster, anything really, to get a response. To a narcissist, any response, even an angry one, is a form of supply. It tells them they still have an effect on you. If all of that fails, their panic can turn to rage. This is when the second front begins, what the community often calls a smear campaign. If they can't have you, they must control the narrative. This serves two purposes, really. It punishes you for abandoning them, and it protects their fragile ego from the shame of rejection. They may start spreading rumors to mutual friends and family, twisting your words, and weaponizing your vulnerabilities. The goal is to isolate you and ruin your reputation. This desperation to control the narrative, though, that actually proves you've successfully taken back your own. When the manipulation campaigns fail to bring you back, the narcissist is faced with a terrifying reality. The wound of that narcissistic injury, it's causing immense psychological distress, and they need to soothe it immediately. And this, well, this precipitates the second observable stage, a frantic and often immediate scramble to find a new source of supply. It's absolutely crucial to understand the psychology here. Their ability to move on with breathtaking speed, that's not a reflection of your worth at all. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's a testament to the agony your absence is, really, causing. They're like an addict in withdrawal, and they'll take any fix they can get. They might immediately reactivate old dating profiles or begin love-bombing a new target. Often, they'll flaunt this new person publicly, especially on social media. This behavior? Well, it's a multi-pronged weapon. First off, it's a direct attempt to provoke you, hoping to make you jealous and break no contact. Secondly, this new supply, it serves as a social bandage for their wounded ego. It creates the public illusion that they're the one who moved on. And thirdly, and most importantly, the new person is a distraction from their inner collapse. The excitement of a new chase, it provides a potent anesthetic that temporarily numbs the pain of their own inadequacy. For the survivor, this can be agonizing. It can make you question, did I mean nothing? But we have to reframe this. Their frantic search for a replacement, well, that's the clearest evidence of the void you left behind. A healthy person doesn't jump from one serious relationship to the next in days. Only someone terrified of being alone, someone who's fundamentally empty inside, behaves this way. Their new relationship isn't a sign of their recovery. It's a symptom of their condition. This is the stage the narcissist has spent their entire life avoiding. It happens behind closed doors, when external distractions are exhausted and there's nowhere left to run. This is the narcissistic collapse, the forced confrontation with their own shadow self. The persona, that confident mask, it shatters. Without your reflection to reassure them, they're forced to look inward, and what they see, it horrifies them. They're confronted with the very feelings they built their identity to deny: worthlessness, shame, and vulnerability. This isn't the sadness of heartbreak. No, it's the existential terror of a being who fears they don't truly exist without someone else's validation. Modern neuroscience shows us that when people feel threatened, their brain's amygdala, the region for fear detection, becomes highly active. For a narcissist, this internal confrontation can trigger a similar primal survival response. Their primary defense mechanism is often rage. The unbearable feelings of shame, they're almost instantly converted into narcissistic rage, aimed at destroying the source of their pain. Since you're no longer there, this rage can turn inward, or it could spill out onto their new supply. This is also where shadow projection becomes most intense. As Jung taught, we often project the parts of ourselves we can't accept onto others. The narcissist may become intensely paranoid, seeing you as a malevolent force bent on their destruction. In reality, they're projecting their own self-destructive inner landscape onto you. They're not grieving you, they're grieving the death of their false self. This collapse is a psychological hell of their own making, and because genuine self-reflection is so difficult for them, they rarely emerge with new insight. They simply emerge with a desperate need to rebuild their shattered persona as quickly as possible. If this is resonating with you and you're getting value from this exploration, please consider subscribing to the channel. And, more importantly, I really invite you to share your own reflections in the comments below. You know, reading each other's stories, it really helps break that sense of isolation and confirms our shared reality. Your perspective, well, it truly matters. After the storm of the collapse subsides, a strange shift can occur. Now that you're truly gone and have proven immune to their manipulations, your status in the narcissist's mind undergoes a bizarre transformation. You're no longer the villain. You become the one that got away. This is a stage of idealization in your absence, a kind of phantom limb phenomenon. To be clear, they don't miss you as a person. No, they miss the function you performed. They miss the high-grade supply you provided. It's like an amputee who feels an ache in a limb that's no longer there, you know? The narcissist feels that ache, of the power and validation you once provided. This is when they may engage in selective memory, a form of hindsight bias, focusing only on the good times. But their definition of good times is different. They remember the moments they felt most powerful and adored. Because you are now permanently beyond their reach, your value in their psychological economy skyrockets. You have become the unattainable object, and the failure to keep you is a stain on their record of grandiosity. To soothe this, they transform you into a mythical figure. You were the best supply they ever had. You might hear of this through mutual acquaintances. They might tell their new supply how much they miss you. This isn't a compliment. It's a manipulation tactic, used to devalue their current partner and to frame themselves as eternally desirable. This stage can sound like love and regret, but it is the ultimate objectification. They don't appreciate your worth as a human. They appreciate your worth as a high-quality source of validation that is now gone. Every storm eventually runs out of energy. After the panic, manipulation, and idealization, the narcissist finally arrives at a last stage. It's not a stage of growth or self-reflection, no. It's a stage of bleak, resentful acceptance. It's the final, quiet shift that confirms your freedom. In this stage, the narcissist finally understands. They've lost all power over you. They've exhausted their toolkit. You haven't responded. You've become a black hole, where their power just disappears. This realization isn't an epiphany for them. Instead, it's a moment of profound defeat. For someone who lives in a world defined by power, admitting defeat is akin to psychological death. But they're also survivalists. They understand that expending energy on a target that yields zero return is a waste of resources. Their focus now shifts entirely to their new primary source. This is when the messages stop for good. The attempts to get information cease. They're forced to archive you. They have to move on. Not because they want to, but because their psychological survival depends on it. This final silence, it's the loudest sound of your freedom. It's the ultimate confirmation that you've escaped their gravitational pull. Their silence isn't a gift, it's a victory you earned. With every message you didn't answer, every time you resisted checking their social media, and every time you chose your own sanity over their chaos. Their psychological unraveling. It's the unvarnished truth of the disorder laid bare. Their retreat. It's the ultimate validation that walking away was the most powerful and correct decision you could have made. If you have walked this path, I want you to take a deep breath. Understand this. The narcissist's collapse was never a testament to your value in their life. It was a testament to the courage it took for you to reclaim your own. Their chaos, it confirms your peace. And their desperation? Well, that confirms your strength. The journey away from a narcissistic relationship is often a catalyst for profound personal growth. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that may have been drawn to the chaos or that struggled with setting boundaries. This brutal self-confrontation, born from trauma, is what leads to indestructible resilience and psychological independence. You learn to validate yourself internally Survivors of this kind of abuse often emerge with what can be described as integrated empathy. That's the ability to feel for others without losing yourself, and to understand without taking on undue responsibility. You don't become numb, you become wise. Your heart remains open, but it's now protected by hard-won wisdom. That quiet in your mind, that's the feeling of a nervous system that's no longer a battleground. The narcissist's final, bitter acceptance isn't the end of their story. They'll likely repeat their cycle, but it's the true beginning of yours. You're no longer a mirror for their emptiness. You're now, finally and completely, free to be a window to your own limitless future.